How's it going, guys? I'm here to review Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, 1990.
But a legend is forever.
So this film is a low-key sequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, but yet in the same time it kind of acts like a soft reboot because it totally kind of disregards the second one, but still have a little back history of the original one. So I think it's entirely like its own thing, but technically it's the third movie, so it's a sequel and a soft reboot. This shit is confusing, I know. So the movie begins with Michelle and Ryan, our two main characters, college students. They are traveling across Texas, and they then meet a hitchhiker named Tex, and then they go to a gas station. That's when they meet this little creepy motherfucker named Alfredo, and yeah, he's just a weird gas station worker. He gives Michelle weird vibes. And as Michelle is in the bathroom, of course, he has a little peephole that can spy on her while she's in the bathroom. Of course, Tex is like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Tex kicks Alfredo out of the gas station. Tex and Alfredo are having a fight. And Michelle and Ryan are like, "What the hell is going on?" Tex tells them to leave. And of course, Alfredo grabs the shotgun, supposed to shoot the hitchhiker, Tex. And then that's when Michelle and Ryan drives off. And they're like, "We have to call the police, or we have to go to the nearest police station. We have to let them know what just happened." Of course, as they're driving to a nearest town, nearest station, Alfredo has a friend with them that has a pickup truck that came out of the same gas station and is now chasing after them. And that friend is Leatherface.
$5. It's only $5. It's a good picture. What do you say? $3.69, okay, just for you. $3.69. Give it $3.69.
No, we're in a hurry. Could you just fill it up, please?
I'm gonna service you real good, man.
I don't know how in God's earth Leatherface managed to catch up to Michelle and Ryan, but he did. And because their tire was fucked, so they had to stop their vehicle to fix the tire. As Leatherface parks his truck somewhere in the dark, Leatherface comes out of nowhere with his chainsaw blazing and trying to chase after them. Sawing the car, they're trying to start the car as he's like literally sawing their vehicle, but they eventually escape. They drive off. They run over Leatherface, but he quickly gets back up. And of course, they then, as they're driving fast again, they then see the bloodied Tex, the hitchhiker, out of nowhere, just comes out in the middle of the road. And then they're like, "Oh shit!" And that's when they bump into another vehicle, which is another main character named Benny. And Benny is played by Ken Foree, who was in numerous movies. He was the guy in Dawn of the Dead. He was in The Devil's Rejects. You name it. Michelle and Ryan's car, they fall down the hill. And of course, Benny gets out of his car to go down to help them, give them painkillers to help them rest. But they're warning him that there's a whole group of clan of family that are chasing after them. They're being hunted. And that's when Benny gets the guns, like an alpha male. Yeah, he's lock and loaded. He has his assault rifles. Apparently, he was in the army, so now I think he's like an ex-military soldier. Either way, he had some training. He was in that department, and now that as he's trying to get help, he then stumbles another family member. Of course, he tries to kill Benny by running him over, and of course, from that point forward, Leatherface and his clan of family are just trying to kill these group of people, Michelle, Ryan, and Benny, and they can do whatever it takes to survive. And that's pretty much the whole plot in a nutshell. So I actually enjoyed the sequel. This sequel is actually pretty fun. Of course, it's not as good as the first two, and it's definitely not as good as part two, but I mean, it's still a decent fucking film. This is the first film that was distributed by New Line Cinema after Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 was Canon Pictures, so of course this one was distributed by New Line Cinema. From this point forward, every Chainsaw Massacre movie until until the 3D reboot is owned by New Line Cinema. Yeah, the movie is kind of cheesy. Like, it really is cheesy, but that's what gives this movie a charm. It has that early 1990s like cheesy but like good horror movie feel, like a B horror movie feel. That's what I like about this movie. The special effects is great in this movie. The gore is great, but you can tell a lot of the shit was cut down by the MPA because back then it was considered too violent. So of course that's why you have two versions. If you buy it, if you buy the DVD, you have the R-rated cut and you have the unrated cut. Even the unrated cut doesn't even show anything that much. I mean, the unrated cut maybe just shows you 5 more seconds. That's really it of the kill. I mean, not really a huge difference in my opinion, but yeah, Leatherface looks fucking crazy in this movie. Like, if you thought he looked horrific in the last 2 movies, he looks insane in this movie. Like,
It's gonna have to do. Let's hit it.
I also like how Tex is played by Virgo Morrison from the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is really cool to see him. And like I said, Ken Foree plays Benny. Ken Foree was the one cop from Dawn of the Dead, the original George Romero's classic, and he was Captain Spaulding's best friend. He was a pimp or owner of a strip club in the Devil's Rejects, if you don't remember. But yeah, he's a really cool actor. I really like Ken Foree. I love the music in this film. It has that like that hard rock like 90s like feel to this movie. Like, the soundtrack in this movie is great. Like, I don't know, when I listen to like the heavy guitar, the heavy banging noises in the background, it just reminds me of like Slayer or Metallica. Like, that's how heavy the soundtrack is in the background, which is really cool. It has a heavy 90s feel.
Fuck is wrong with you? Why don't you leave us alone? You're hungry. Give her a pizza.
So even though I enjoyed the sequel, even though it has that cheesy B horror movie feel, even though I like that type of shit and that 90s aesthetic, and then the special effects is good, and I like how Benny, his character, is being a badass. If you move all that aside that I love, the only thing that I don't like in this movie is it's just a repeat. It's just a copy and paste from the original, like I said, because this movie is not even original. The plot is just the same exact shit, but just changed a little from the first movie. That's really it. That's why I call this movie a soft reboot, because it's pretty much the same shit. Nothing really changes. Part 3, 4, remakes, reboots, prequels. It's just the same storyline, the same formula. A bunch of kids, a group of kids, 2 kids, 1 person. It doesn't matter. Just people traveling to Texas and just getting hunted down by this family. It's the same shit. Part 2, in my opinion, was a little different because you had a different character with a different ambitions, and you had another side character that was out for revenge in part 2. That's what I liked about it. But in this one, it's just, like I said, it's a copy and paste from the first one, and it really doesn't change anything or doesn't make any new creative ideas that much, in my opinion. I thought this movie was decent, so I would give this movie a 7 out of 10. It's not as good as the first 2, but this is pretty much, in my opinion, this will be the last of the original movies. Like, this is the last good one of the original movies, in my opinion, because from here on out, it's gonna get worse, and it's gonna get better, and it's gonna get worse. This franchise is just a train wreck, I'm telling you, but I'll get to those movies later. Decent movie. I love the 90s feel, the heavy rock feel. Badass character, and Leatherface looks fucking crazy in this movie. So that was my quick review of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 in 1990. Please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
There's roadkill all over Texas.
Got that.